front. Now we're going to see a little four-wide action. Crazy out of the triangle.
Oh, he gets over into the lead on the record.
3x3 entering four.
Three deep. At the flag stand, side by side, it's going to be Jason Maines winning at Talladega.
Hello everybody, welcome in. Saturday evening here. Good looking weather outside. We are at Talladega Superspeedway, virtual Talladega that is, and I appreciate you joining me here on Ghost Racing Network. Getting ready for back-to-back nights of FEG-PC money racing. Good race last night. We saw Daniel Eberhard get the win. We'll see who's going to steal the pot tonight. On that note, how about it? Let's get down trackside. Get started tonight with your race info. You know the track we're at, but of course, weather outside always likes to change. And looking at it, it's going to be 78 degrees here this morning at Talladega Superspeedway, 55% humidity, partly cloudy skies, and winds at 2 miles an hour. It's the Talladega 40 in the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series. 40 laps, 100% fuel, unlimited tires, one faster pair, and fixed setup. So you can see the difference there is about 5 laps shorter here tonight, and of course going to be 100% fuel. That's the biggest difference. Track temp nice and cool out, going to heat up as the race goes on, currently sitting at 79 degrees Fahrenheit. And then track length as always coming in at 2.65 miles, one of the longest tracks in all of oval racing. How about we get into your starting grid? Look at the man that got the pole tonight. One of the college series drivers. He knows how to get it done here. He's been close a couple times, almost got the job done. I believe it was either last weekend or the weekend before, one of the last races that we did here. Unfortunately, got DQ'd for going below the yellow. So we'll see what happens. But how about it? Cody Reed starting on the pole here tonight. Aaron Roth to his outside in second. Dylan Jones in third. Sean Hill fourth. Jeff Merck rounds out your top 5. Donald Ray sixth. Row 4 is going to be Kevin Fries and Joshua McCall. Bobby Forbes in ninth with Josh Bonwell. Saw him with some momentum, get a podium spot last night. He rounds out your top 10. Moving back to row 6, we find Logan York and Jason Schilling. Jason Maines in 13th. John Ward 14th. Chad Ross in 15th. It's going to be Art Greco 16th. Christopher McCall in 17th. Joey Allen 18th. Ken McCall Jr. 19th with Jackson Byes rounding at your top 20. 21st is going to be Mitchell Daves. And 22nd is going to be the fan favorite for Blind Squirrel Racing. That is Mr. Ambrose Kniebel. Looking at the chat, boy, we're getting fired up early here. It looks like we had a lot of people getting ready to go here for tonight. I was sitting here setting things up before it was time to go green, and it looked like we already had probably 4 or 5 guys sitting here waiting for things to get started. That included Thunder Joey, said, let's go. Logan York says, yep. Devin Rea also ready to get this thing going. Let's go. And I believe Devin is watching from work right now, so shout out. We appreciate you being here. A couple more people in the chat. Logan York's ready to get this thing going, as we noted. And Chris Carter says, sorry about my comment last night. I was 12 deep in that 12-pack. Lol. That's no problem, Chris. You know, we got Ambrose Kniebel's out here racing probably about 12 deep in a 12-pack right now, as it is Saturday night. But at the end of the day, the point is, it's no harm, no foul. As long as comments aren't directed at anybody specifically, it certainly doesn't matter. And we certainly appreciate you watching nonetheless, despite the comment. But kicking us off with the $4 super chat as well, it looks like, is Chris Carter. Big shout out there. I guess that's one way to get yourself back in the good graces if you felt bad from last night. Thank you so much, Chris Carter, for the $4 in super chat. Way to kick us off here before we get going green. $20 worth of super chats last night. Absolutely, it was insane. John Mullahan, Richard Elliott with 2 $10 donations. But either way, all that aside, the race last night was what really kind of made my night. It had been a little bit of a rough night, but we're going to get to see it. Here we go tonight. Green flag getting ready to wave in the air. The pace car is going to pull off. Cody Reed, Aaron Roth, they're ready to lead us to green. Only one pit stop scheduled here. And at 40 laps, 100% fuel, there's going to be some strategy. And when you play that pit stop out, I think we're going to see McCall Motorsports maybe go a little bit on the earlier side. But first, we got to see how racy these guys are willing to get here. 3 wide rules probably going to apply the first 2 laps. Here we go. Green flag is in the air. We're racing at Talladega. Pretty good start. Jump by the inside line. Cody Reed out leading the way down into turn 1. He's got a push from Dylan Jones. Jeff Merck for NBG Motorsports sitting third. He's actually alongside his teammate Sean Hill. But as the 30 of Aaron Roth falls back, all these guys are going to stay patient. We already got one truck 3 wide up top, but I think they might be falling back a little bit here. Not going to see too much shoving just yet. We'll have to see what goes on as this thing really gets going. I think guys are going to be kind of conservative. Now, don't forget, we did see an early caution last night, but that was kind of for just a racing incident. Nothing anybody could help. But after that, these guys did start to get a bit conservative. We never ended up getting that green flag stop underway, but I think that's what you very well might see tonight. These guys kind of just stayed double file. Again, very easy to go through wide here in a sense at Talladega. The track's plenty wide enough for it. That's never the issue. The issue is when guys start getting a little too bobbing and weaving when they're 3 wide, but with a pit stop, it's kind of that control that keeps everybody from maybe wanting to do anything extra. So we'll see how that pans out tonight. Donald Ray, a little bit of a rough run last night, got caught up in a few incidents not of his doing, but he sits here in 6th position. Oh, and we're already going to have one spun. That's Cody Reed. Can he hold on? He does. Are you kidding me? What a save. How does he do it? That was a truck that was headed straight for that big white inside wall. Oh my goodness. Holds on and hoping he's going to hold on to the draft here. It's going to be mighty close on whether or not he can. Let's go back and take a look at the save by Cody Reed here. It looks like he's going to get turned off turn 2. We'll back this up the manual way. And I think that's indeed what happens. Speed this up a little bit for you. He's just going to get turned around off of turn 2, and this is what's going to start all this. He was leading on the inside line. And watch it from the TV follow cam here. Oh, yeah, Dylan Jones goes to give him a little bit push, a little bit offset to the left, and Cody Reed goes for a slide now. This is where it gets impressive. Look at this. Oh, my goodness, almost 90 degrees sideways back facing the track, and still straightens it out and holds on. Oh, well, probably not really getting out of the gas too much. He probably had to burp it a little bit. Holy moly. Let's go take a look at this one more time from the cockpit view. Here we go. And look at the hands working here for Cody Reed. Wow. I do not know how he kept that from going back up in the field, but somehow, someway he did. Now, looking back at him now as we go back live here, unfortunately, downside is he did lose the draft, currently sitting 22nd, 7 seconds behind the field, but he's got plenty of time to make it up. We'll see what he can do here, but I think he's going to need a caution. Meanwhile, McCall Motorsports, they're ready to get the party started here tonight. 3 wide up top goes Joshua McCall. He gets some help right now. It looks like Josh Bonwell. You see John Ward, he's ready to boot, scoot, and boogie up top as well. But in between them, it's going to be the 11 of Bobby Forbes. Also had a couple bad breaks last night. He's looking to make something happen tonight. Ooh, the 5 of Donald Ray. Got down too low. Doors Dylan Jones. Dylan's able to save it. Comes back up. A little bit more door in between Sean Hill and Aaron Roth. These guys getting really, really crazy. And really, after it early on here, they all keep it together. But all those bumping and banging allowed Joshua McCall to almost get clear on that 3rd line. He can't quite do it as Jeff Merck. That 3rd truck keeps the support up for that middle line. Now you see the bottom starting to fade. Kevin Freeze is working it down there as well, the 3rd truck. But they just can't seem to quite get the runs that the middle and top is making happen right now. Ken McCall Jr. sitting just a little bit further back of your screen on the outside as well. We'll have to see what happens here, but they are already 3 wide in racing. Ambrose Knievel, a fan favorite. He has made up some positions from the start of this thing. He is ready to make his way to the front, up 11 from where he started. Your second biggest mover, because your biggest mover is going to be Mitchell Daves, currently up 15 from where he started. Sean Hill leads the way, though, and man, you can just see it. There's a lot of movement going around in the middle of the pack right now. It gets you a little bit worried as a driver, and up here in the booth, making me a little bit worried. Really antsy to see a green flag stop. We haven't got to see one in a little while, and I think if these guys could get one, it would really shake up the strategy play, and we might very well see another team sweep again. Think about what we saw last night. We basically did see a team sweep, of course. Oh, and we're going to wreck. Hold that thought. Big one down into turn 1. This is going to collect a handful and a couple more. Donald Ray's into Ambrose Knievel. Aaron Roth, Josh Bonwell slides down, and Joshua McCall. Man, oh man, early wreck. Didn't see that one coming. Not sure what actually happened. Saw Donald Ray, it looked like was one of the first trucks to get spun. Couldn't tell exactly what happened, though. And let's back this up and see if we can't get a better angle of it. So looking at the TV follow, ooh, contact had already happened by this point. That's the 3 truck of Mitchell Daves, who we were just talking about. It's having a decent run in your biggest mover, and this starts all the way back in the travel. So watch this. You know, Donald Ray looks like was maybe drifting up. I'm not sure if that was from a push or just on his own doing, But when he goes up, the 3 kind of stays there from what it looks like. And then the 5, when he comes back down, not quite clear along the nose of the 3. And it's on from there. Ambrose Kniebel turns the 3 as he was not able to check up in time. Nothing he could really do. And then all the trucks that went high, they're going to get involved in this one just as you would expect in a super speedway race. Bumpers flying. Debris everywhere. Josh Bonwell up on the top. He's not going to escape this one unscathed. As you see, Jason Maines rolling extra down low. He wants to make sure nobody gets down and gives him any extra contact. Let's take a couple more angles of it here. I want to actually... Let's take a look at the cockpit view for... Take a cockpit view for Mitchell Dave. See if this gives us a little bit better insight on whether or not he went up or if the 5 came more down. It looked like the 5 came down. Watch this here. Here we go. It gives him maybe a little bump. And it's just kind of awkward. That's the best way to put it. It's really hard to say. The way he goes about it, it's almost like maybe he was trying to force it a little bit, and at the same time Donald Ray was thinking maybe he was still clear. It was a really hard one to say. I kind of chalked that one up as a racing deal. But either way, it brings out the caution. We'll give you just a couple more views of it here. Let's start with the restart cam. Everybody swerves to miss this one. Bobby Forbes does a heck of a job. Looks like he has to make a late dive down low to miss it. So let's go ahead and for our final view with it, take a ride on board with him, see what he sees through this whole incident. Oh man, the 3 comes up right in front of him, and oh, he does make some contact. Thought he maybe stuck through it. That's going to give him a little bit of front end damage at least. I don't know if it's going to be too bad though. I think he'll be able to continue. Well, I guess good news depending on your strategy, bad news depending on your strategy here for some guys, because this is going to put us right on the border of making it on fuel here. Let's see if it's 1 to go, and that would give us a better insight on that clue. We know that you can make 30 laps pretty comfortable as long as you're in the draft on 100% fuel, at least with these trucks. Now, if you're really saving, 32's borderline, you can do it. It's hard to say, actually. It's kind of borderline. We'll have to see what these guys decide to do. However, if we're not going green this time and these guys have the option to top off, I very, very well think that we're going to see quite a few guys topping off, which the lights are still on, so we are going to get another chance. I think you're going to see a lot of guys come down the pits here, top off, and then it'll be that much closer on fuel. But it looks like a couple more chats. Ryan Allen, very impressive save after Chris Carter says, "You're welcome, buddy." Sonny Scottford says, "Great save, nice." Sure enough, Cody Reed easily has the save of the night at this point. I don't see anybody really beating that one. And Bryce, Ghost Racing Owner, says in the chat, all subscription... Oh, no, wait. A little bit above that. Hey, guys, you may see a new option now next to the subscribe button is a join button. Pressing that button allows you to choose which tier of subscription you all want on the channel. And then all subscription does is support the channel each month with a small payment that can be canceled. You get access to certain emojis, a loyalty badge, a wallpaper. With the lowest subscription, the next allows priority replies and then member-only polls. For the last stage, 2 and 3, everything else stage 1 has also, you don't have to do. The subscriptions are different. Then subscribing to the channel, subscriptions are recurring cost each month. Subscribing to the channel costs nothing. Thank you for getting us to this point, channel. It's all thanks to you guys. Well said. Absolutely right. Can't do this without you guys watching, and 18 viewers on a Saturday night. Not too bad. We appreciate everybody being here. But yeah, what it is, everybody knows how the subscribe button works. Pretty simple. If you like us enough to where you feel like watching us more than once in a while, just go ahead and hit the subscribe button. Doesn't cost you anything, just helps you. You can get notifications whenever we go live, and you'll get priority videos, I think, on your YouTube channel or something, the way it works. But the membership thing's a little new that we get with the YPP, of course. Super Chats, one of the newer things, and if you missed what that is, you can see it earlier as Chris Carter donated $4 through Super Chat. Put a little emoji in there as well. And then the membership thing, though, is something a little different. It's pretty cool the way it works. Now, there's certain perks, and don't quote me on this just yet, but I believe it's things that me and Bryce are going to be able to actually make certain things that you can do if you're in that. And we're going to try to make some exciting stuff for it as time goes on. Again, we just got it probably 2 or 3 days ago. Bryce just got it set up, so just working with it for now, but we'll have to see what happens. Back on track, Sean Hill leading the way, Jeff Merck second, Josh Bonwell third, our Greco fourth, and it's going to be Joey Allen rounding out your top 5. And Joey's got a pretty good run going here early, up 13 from where he started. Now, last night, we tried to talk to him, and he said, unfortunately, whatever was going on, his setting wasn't right. So why don't we go ahead and try him again here tonight? Hey, Joey, this is Austin up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir. How you doing, bud?
Good. Well, we didn't get a chance to talk to you last night, but it looks like we're going to get to tonight. Well, good run here at the start. Already up 13 positions. First question I want to ask you is here. It's looking a little close on fuel. How's your fuel number looking?
Yeah, I'm sure I'm definitely going to pit one more time. I'll just kind of go with the flow right now, see what everybody's doing, and go with them right now.
Now, speaking of going with the flow, don't believe you have any teammates out here tonight, or if you do, we certainly know it's not one of the big teams like McCall Motorsports or one of the other teams. So with that in mind and kind of more of a solo dog kind of approach here to it, do you try to go to the front here from the drop of the green, or do you maybe try to hang around and just pick them off one by one?
I got one guy as a teammate, just jumped in tonight. So I'm gonna try and up front, I'm gonna try and stay up here right now and hold it up here. If it gets hairy, then I'll drop back to the back.
All right, sounds like a pretty good game plan. Hey, thanks for talking to us. We'll see if we're seeing you at the end of this race.
Thank you, sir.
And we're going to let him know let him go, because on that note, green flag is back in the air. Good start for the first row, but on the second row, a little bit of a mess for the outside line. Art Greco doesn't get going. Caution is back out. So we must have had some real issues here towards the back. Unless that was... Yeah, I'm really not too sure what that was. We'll have to go back and see if we can figure it out. We just grabbed the green flag. Let's see... Yeah, that was a really odd caution. Not too sure what brought this out. Let's see if we can get a better idea from the blimp cam. And this is... you know what? I think I might have a good guess on why this caution was out. I could be wrong. Look at the disorganization through the field here. I mean, this looks very, very sloppy. You got a big single file line from a lot of guys that went to top off, but they just can't seem to quite get everything organized. And as you see them getting into it, they're still not really organized. Big gaps, even in that single file line. That really hurts people's restarts when that's the case. And then as they get up to the Geico restart zone, yeah, I mean, look at that. It's going all the way back. You got guys that aren't even in the trial yet as they're getting restarted. So I think this might have been an admin thrown caution here. Just saying, yeah, guys, we got to do better than that. We're going to go ahead and rack them back up. Probably take one to go, get this thing back a little quicker. Now, this should, again, you know, Joey Allen there, with what he said, it kind of got me thinking a little bit more about it. These guys should be good to go on fuel unless the fuel number really changed since the new package. And especially now with this caution here and guys having a chance to top off even more, there's really no reason that I personally should see another pit stops. It looks like Logan York says by spun, and that could have been very well why. I didn't see it on the blimp cam there. I might have just been blind. Oh, wow. Yeah, I must have been blind. That was right in the middle of the screen. I was too busy looking at the gaps that were further back. So the caution wasn't for guys being too spread out here, although they were. Sure enough, this is going to be for Jackson. He just kind of gets tagged here by Cody Reed. Does he miss his shift? Ooh, man. Big checkup effect. Let's ride on board to see what it sounds like. He missed a shift, or if Cody Reed just got too antsy. Take a listen. Oh, yeah, he misses a shift. Sounds like it might blow the motor in the process, too. Oh, man, that's a tough break. It almost sounds like he downshifted. Now, these guys are in second gear, and I know a lot of people probably know this, but let's put this into a logical perspective. And in fact, we can't take a look at the dashboard, unfortunately, but these guys restart in second gear, right? And think about an H pattern shifter. You got first gear, which you can usually find the top left corner. You shift down to go to second, and then you got to go up and slightly to the right to get to third. And occasionally what can happen is if you're trying to shift too fast, you miss it. And what it sounded like there is he went right on back to first, blew the engine up, and got tagged by Cody Reed, sent into the outside. Well, that's a tough break for both of those trucks, as Cody Reed with a heck of a save earlier trying to get back to the front. You got to think that probably gave him a little bit of front end damage. Sure, he got it fixed up, though, and is ready to get back to racing. Josh Bonwell being scored as your leader. Art Greco second. Aaron Roth third. Joey Allen, just talked to him, fourth. Ken McCall Jr. rounding out your top five. He was a happy man last night. Second place finish. The team basically sweep the top five, as we were talking about just before they wrecked. Daniel Eberhardt and Josh Bonwell, of course, I don't believe they're officially named McCall Motorsports drivers, but they certainly were working together last night, had that alliance going, and it worked out well with them sweeping the top five. Ryan Allen also said, yeah, that's my dad, referring to Joey Allen. And Joey, you know, he's still one of those guys. We always like to talk about certain guys in certain circumstances, but I've seen Joey around quite a bit, especially in the FEG races, and I really do think this is one of those guys where if he could land himself on one of the bigger teams, or one of the teams in general, we get 3 or 4 teammates and get some chemistry going, I think he could be a real threat. Because he already is one, right? I mean, we always see him running towards the front. Here he is tonight. Catches a lot of bad breaks, and when you catch a bad break by yourself, you get sent to the back. It's a lot of times just too difficult to get back to the front. In this case, that's what it's looking like is going to be the case for Josh Bonwell. Quick reminder, 4th of July weekend, well, not weekend, excuse me, 4th of July coming up this week on Tuesday. And this is set to be the last broadcast, most likely until Thursday for the PGR Intimidator Superspeedway Series. Nothing Monday. We're going to take a break. Potentially going to broadcast something Tuesday. I know Ron Morse Jr. is planning on throwing something up, but not sure just yet. I think we might take a break and spend the evening with the family. But Thursday we'll be back in action with it. Friday, Saturday, who knows? We'll have to see. Just a quick reminder, though, so if you're looking for any Ghost Racing Network on the 4th of July, you probably need to be going outside and lighting some fireworks instead, because that's what I will be doing. There's the 5 of Donald Ray. He gets that thing back going. He's got John Ward behind him here. But for the restart, he's going to have Jason Maines behind him all the way back in 15th. Good trucks, though, to have lined up behind you. Makes some progress back to the front in a hurry. And Jason Schilling, I believe this is one of the newer guys. Let's give him a shout-out. Currently in 18th, down 6 from where he started, but he was kind of involved in that first wreck. Not much he could do. Got the Wake Up and Piss Excellent sticker on the top right. Talladega Nights, Ricky Bobby style. We'll see if he can get it done here tonight. Chad Ross for Team 3. Had a teammate in Brian Kaiser. We saw them working together towards the front last night, but he's not going to find his teammate here tonight. And we'll see if he can still find a way to get it going. Driver out of Largo, Florida. Did get the one to go signal, so we should be going back green this time. 13 of 40 laps completed so far here tonight. Not quite halfway, but with there being no more pit stops scheduled, at least from all the knowledge that we have on field numbers up here, I think the racing is about to start picking up. Guys might stay a little bit calm, but Art Greco, Aaron Roth, those two are going to have to, even Joey Allen actually as well, those three are kind of separating some of the bigger teams, NBG Motorsports, the main boys, and McCall Motorsports, all sitting like a pool of hungry sharks just behind them, and they're going to be looking to go 3 wide as soon as that option is available. 2 cautions so far here tonight, not too bad. Again, first caution, a little bit of a mistake, nothing too crazy, and then this last caution came before we even crossed the start-finish line, as we had a spin in the back. Cody Reed and Byes both involved in it, and it looks like Jackson Byes is not, oh no, he is back on track, but he's not on the lead lap. 2 laps down. Ambrose Kniebel 1 lap down. So we'll have to see what happens. And speaking of Ambrose Kniebel, if we get a late caution Saturday, you know what we got to do. We got to find an interview from Ambrose Kniebel, but we're going to see how his race is going before we do that. Green flag back in the air up front. Looks like a much cleaner restart this time and a lot more double file action towards the front. Not that long single file line that we saw on the last restart. With that being said, Josh Bonwell off to a good start. Art Greco is going to fall back a couple of lanes before he gets that thing going. And if Joey Allen can get locked up soon with Jeff Merck, they're going to have a big run down the backstretch. Ken McCall Jr. is looking to get clear here. We'll see if he decides to jump up. It's a little bit of a risk, but it could have a big reward if he chooses to do so. Looks like he's going to go ahead and stick to the low lane for now. Continues to push Aaron Roth, who pushes Josh Bonwell. The outside line is just about back to even now as Art Greco does get that assist from Joey Allen and Jeff Merck. Again, no 3 wide really allowed for these guys until we complete the first 2 laps with this big of a field here tonight. So everybody's just getting a feel, looking to set up that move. And right now, if you're Jeff Merck, he's got a teammate in Sean Hill behind him. So you know as soon as they're allowed to, they're planning on making the move. Now, Kevin Freese, Dylan Jones, Jason Maines, those 3 teammates tonight, we haven't seen them all on the track together in a while, at least with Kevin Freese added to that trio, that is. And we really haven't seen them at the front so far here tonight. Not sure if that is by design or if it's just been a little too tough to really get up there yet. Now, further back, Ambrose Kniebel, he's looking 3 wide. I didn't think these guys were allowed to yet, but maybe the rule isn't in play for tonight. So sure enough, he's going to take it. I'm just realizing the audio maybe is slightly a little bit too loud, so we're going to turn that down just a little bit. Let me know how it sounds in the chat. Logan York in the chat earlier, we appreciate him. Let me know how that sounded. And Logan York, of course, in the race here again tonight. Well, he was looking to make that move work. Ambrose Kniebel, though, they're going to have to dip back down, fall in line. The 5 of Donald Ray, I think he was thinking about making a move with those 2 trucks. Now, further in the back, there's Bobby Forbes. Looks like he's by himself. Not sure. Looks like he might have some damage. That might be what's holding him back there. And then this group right here, Jackson Byes is in it 2 laps down. If he can get in front of Well, not really, because he's 2 laps down. He's going to need more. Ooh, we got trucks going everywhere here in turn 1. What happened, and can they save it? That's the main question. Man, I saw Josh Barnwell coming back up, and he does save it. Ken McCall Jr. saves it as well. Up front, that's going to make them disorganized for just a moment, but everybody keeps it together, minds their P's and Q's. Let's back it up here. And let's watch what happens here. Can't see it yet. Ooh. Aaron Roth, maybe with a little bit of a bad push to Josh Barnwell, sends him right up into Art Greco. Luckily, Art Greco's able to hang on, and just as we come back, caution is out. We got a couple down the grass out of turn 4. Sean Hill's in, and Ambrose Knievel is spun down out of 4. Looks like Logan York might have damage as well. But Ambrose Knievel looks like he may have gotten the worst of it. The right side of that Miller Lite 04 machine is destroyed. Things looking a little rough here early now, and this is what can happen when you get a couple cautions that breed a couple more. This is going to be 2 incidents here. Oddly enough, Art Greco is going to be the first to spin. Oh, actually, maybe not so much 2 incidents. What happens here to Art Greco? Does he get a little bit of left side of Ambrose Knievel here? Let's see if we can see from the TV follow cam. Oh, yeah, he does. Ambrose Knievel just kind of drives down to the 88. He's trying to save it. He can't quite do so. Or at least he didn't do so in the camera frame. He may have, but then the second wreck. So after Ambrose Knievel got into Art Greco, looks like maybe he makes a little more contact, gets into Joey Allen. Not sure. I don't think Joey was really coming up. At least it certainly doesn't look like it from that view. Ambrose coming down a little bit. Yeah, that looks like the 04 coming down and just gets into the right rear. That doesn't work too well. That hooks the 23 to the left into Sean Hill. And there's Logan York and Donald Ray up top. They had absolutely nowhere to go. And they're all going to slide on in. The 3 gets involved. There's the 88 of Art Greco, who I think did initially save it, but unfortunately got caught up in the secondary wreck. So Ambrose Knievel tried to get it back on rolling here. Let's take a couple more views of it here. Yeah, sure enough, Art Greco did save it. Did a heck of a job. Unfortunately, like we said, couldn't miss the second wreck because he makes pretty heavy contact with Logan York, driver's side there. But Ambrose Knievel certainly had to get the worst of it, that is for sure. Take one final view of it from the wall cam. So I'll give you a pretty good shot of it. Looking at it head on, here we go. So back live, third caution of the night, 23 laps to go. We always talk about 25 as kind of that mark where you really got to start to make your way to the front. And I think some of these guys got that memo because Christopher McCall finds himself in second. Well, let's just go ahead and go over your top 5 and we'll get to it. Jeff Merck sits first. Christopher McCall in second, up 15 from where he started. Aaron Roth third. Joshua McCall fourth. John Ward fifth. And Sean Hill currently rounding out your top 5. But it looked like he had some damage. I'd be a little shocked if he doesn't repair that, although they've already used his fast repairs. We know some guys certainly had to from the first wreck. And yeah, the left side of that thing is pretty banged up. Beautiful looking decal on it though. He's got the Ghost Racing Network paint scheme and he's got the lightning on there as well. But let's see if I can look at this from a little bit of a side angle. Not sure that it's going to let me here. This is the best I can do. Yep, you see some on the left rear. How about the left front? A lot more on the left front, so that is certainly going to hurt him at least a little bit. If he's not down any RPMs, it might not be too bad, but he's definitely going to feel it and not going to have the best truck leading the rest of the way. That is for sure. Jeff Merck, on the other hand, his teammate's looking pretty good. And if Sean Hill could somehow find his teammate, he could work on just pushing Jeff Merck to the win. Aaron Roth has been hanging up front just about the whole night, doing a heck of a job. Josh McCall back there in fourth. Now, Jackson Byes may have gotten a lap back from that, depending he wasn't involved. In fact, he did, as Ambrose Knievel, who was a lap down, was involved in it, sits on pit road now. And Donald Ray, who we saw trying to run up front again tonight, tough break for 2 nights in a row now. Again, not doing anything wrong, just caught up in wrecks. Not really of his causing. Unfortunately, not much he can really do about it now. Let's go ahead and see if we can bring somebody up here in the booth. How about we get a word? Let's get a word with... that's a tough choice. Let's, might as well get, how about Jeff Burke up here? He's leading the way. Hey, Jeff, this is Austin from the booth. You got a copy?
I do, Austin. What's up, bud?
Well, you're looking fast here tonight. Looks like it is just you and Sean Hill trying to hold down the fort here tonight for NBG Motorsports. You got the lead here, though, with 22 to go. How you plan on keeping it the rest of the way?
Way, you know just as well as I do, Austin, still way too far to go to be having that conversation. I could be dead, turn 2. Right now, it's just pretty much track position, trying to see what everybody's got, and then trying to make it work in the last 2-3 laps.
Now, it does look like your teammate Sean Hill got some damage from that last wreck, and I know you guys talk a lot. Is there any game plan here for him to try to get linked up, and maybe you guys just work as one unit for the rest of this race, or do you both still try to go for it?
Yeah, I think a lot of the team stuff is, you know, you want to work as one unit, try to make 2 trucks into one and push, especially with this new package. You have to. That's where a lot of the wrecks are coming from here and in PGR. The package dictates that you just have to push nonstop. So I don't think his damage is as bad as it looks, and these trucks are pretty bulletproof now. So we're coming off 4, getting ready to go green. So I'm gonna pull these belts tight and go try to get it.
All right, well, we'll let you go then. Thanks for talking to us, and we'll see if we see you at the end.
Thanks, bud.
Jeff Merck in the 60 truck. And each night when we interview these guys, it seems like somebody somewhere always brings up a good point. And tonight it's looking like it's going to be Jeff Merck bringing up the point about the new package. Well, of course, being like tanks, as he said, damage a lot better than it used to be, but also how much more important it is to work as one unit. And that's kind of a risk versus reward thing, right? I mean, we see how important it is that you got to push pretty much around the whole track now, including the corners, but slight miscalculation in that push and we see a big wreck. So you got to be careful. You got to make sure you're doing it the right way. We had one blinking, but we are back green. That one truck that was blinking is still not loaded back in as Jeff Merck doesn't get the best restart because of it. Christopher McCall is going to be able to jump from the top to the bottom. That gives Joshua McCall the lead up top. He's also got some damage on the left side, but we'll see how him and Sean Hill tandem together here down the back. Off turn 2, a lot of trucks bailing to the inside line here. A little surprised about that, but Jeff Merck and Aaron Roth are going to hop to the top line. Does Joshua McCall stick in line, or does he try 3 wide? He is going to stay in line. Jeff Merck does get back clear of the bottom, but he's not going to take it as Christopher McCall pulls back up to his door. And man, you talk about slamming the door. That is what he did to Christopher McCall right there. Had probably only a couple inches of room, but he made it work. And that's going to put the 60 back in the lead with the 22 pushing. Up top, Aaron Roth, Christopher McCall, he's trying to push Merck out to enough of a lead so that he can think about jumping up top. Further back, Sean Hill, man, that damage, it really does look like it's hurting him right now. He's going to just go ahead and bail out to the bottom. We'll see. I think he's going to need a truck pushing him pretty constantly, and even that might not be enough. As the 77 continues to fall back, that's Cody Reed behind him now. Josh Bonwell, Dylan Jones jumping on the train up in the top line. We'll see what happens with them. And Christopher McCall back up to the top. Here we go. He's got a push from Aaron Roth. If he gets clear, a little surprised that as many of these guys that are dropping to the bottom. A lot of times we see that everybody likes to stay at the top, but he is going to get himself clear and Aaron Roth clear. Joshua McCall almost was able to squeeze in the gap as well. Couldn't quite do it. So he stays leading the outside. We'll see what Aaron Roth wants to do here. And if you're Christopher McCall at this point, what do you do? Do you stick on the bottom, or do you think about maybe working the lanes a little bit in both? At a certain point, if Aaron Roth keeps pushing, you know he's going to get hot, and he's probably going to get hot quicker than Joshua McCall is, who now Jeff Merck has hopped up in front of. But the trend here tonight almost reminds me of the old package. Jump to the outside, get the lead, and go right back to the bottom. Very uncharacteristic of what we've seen in recent races with this new package, where guys like to, Jeff Merck's going to try a little block there. He's not going to make it in time. He's going to have to drop back down to the bottom. But this new package, a lot of time guys like to stay in the high lane because it gets the run more consistently. Not the case here tonight. Everybody wants to play the safe strategy, and this time Christian McCall gets clear of the bottom again, and he's going to drag his teammate with him. Art Greco now looking for the lead up top. Josh Bonwell pushing him, followed by Dylan Jones, Bobby Forbes, and Chad Ross. A couple trucks that are not really hanging around with this lead pack. They're sitting just behind it. Looks like Jackson and Buys. Logan York drafting together. Logan York has a little bit of damage as well on the left side. Might be hurting his speed a bit. Just behind them, Ambrose Knievel. He is still in the race, but he has heavy damage. He's going to be in danger of going a lap down here very shortly. Yeah, you see the pack's going to be catching it probably within the next 5 laps or so. Let's take a look at the dashboard speed. Ooh, 154. 160. Not really meeting minimum speed by much. Ken McCall Jr., he's hanging back just a little bit. I think these guys are probably expecting at least one more wreck, but right now things have calmed down a little bit. We're not seeing the 3 wide as quick as we saw it last time, and everybody seems to have kind of gotten things figured out a little bit. How about a little crank it up segment, though, here with 18 laps to go? Here we go. And that's going to do it for tonight's segment of Crank It Up. I hope you all did enjoy that. Down the backstretch, my favorite thing about this camera angle that we're looking at here is it really shows you the runs and the bump drafts. Now, Art Greco there, you saw what he did. He looked a little bit, I guess the word might be timid there. More or less gave Jeff Merck a shot, not so much a push, where on the bottom you see the 2 teammates doing a little bit more pushing and a little bit more slam drafting, and it's working as they're staying in front, but you got to be really careful with it. One of the most dangerous spots to really push a guy, especially if you push him in the wrong spot, is out of the turns. Truck gets really light, unloading off the banking, and it does not take much to send somebody down to the inside wall. Jeff Merck back to the top line here with 15 laps to go, and we had to give you a stat on laps led tonight. I don't know if I could do it because the lead has continued to change as they continue to battle it out side by side, and I think maybe one of the reasons we haven't seen the third lane so far is because nobody's really needed to use it. At least nobody that's really wanted to go for the lead. The top 4, when they've wanted to go for the lead, they've pretty much been able to either drop low or go high, and there's been a lane open. But just as I say that, Logan York, he tried to make it 3 wide, but Jackson Byes has already jumped up to the top. They're going to fade back a little bit, though. Joey Allen was trying to make it work with him. Of course, Jackson Byes is going to need another caution. He very well might get one, and if he can get the lucky dog, he'll have a chance to be back in this thing. Fortunately, he doesn't have a fast bird, though, so he's got to be really careful. Christopher McCall playing with the lane to a little bit more now. He's got to be careful doing that because Jeff Merck might try to pounce sooner or later. He does drag Jeff Merck, though, with him out to the lead and down to the bottom of the track. And at 14 laps to go, once we approach and get to that 10 lap to go mark, action is going to really start picking up. And we will be seeing 3 wide again before this race is over. I can promise you that. But the bottom line has honestly looked more organized tonight. I don't want to say stronger because the top has still had the bigger runs. But in terms of organization, the bottom has looked better. The top just seems to kind of get a big run and then fall off and kind of repeat that cycle over and over. Jeff Merck back to the top. Was trying to get a push from Art Greco. Unfortunately, Art backed off of him just a little bit. That stacks that outside up, and now we're going to see a move here from Chad Ross. He jumps to the outside, thinking about taking Josh Bardwell 4 wide. Is he going to do it? He is. Leaves out the McCall Motorsports teammate, ex-Team 3 teammate. They are 4x4. Oh, they're going to wreck. Back up the track goes Jeff Merck and Art Greco. How many's going to get involved in this one? 3 trucks up against the outside safer barrier into turn 1. It looks like Chad Ross is in it as well. We just saw him make the 3 wide move. This caution is going to help a couple guys out, and it's going to put us in a restart with 10 to go. Let's back this up. See what happens here. A little surprised what exactly happened with it. Because, you know, we were 4 wide, so I would have thought the wreck was going to happen there. It doesn't. And this is kind of a mess to see from the TV follow cam. Can't really see it enough. Kind of look like a stack up from that view, but I couldn't tell. So let's take a look from the chopper camera. And let's see what we got here. Ooh, they're just going to kind of squeeze together. That was odd looking. What's the idea of Art Greco? Does he try to drop below? Can't tell if he tries to drop below Jeff Merck. It kind of looks like he does. And when he does so, he's Joshua McCall also just barely moving up. So you had one guy coming down, one guy just barely coming up. And they meet each other in the middle. And from there, the big rack's on. Jeff Merck. Most guys actually snuck through this. I will say this was not as bad as I initially thought it was. And I think Jackson Byes avoided contact. We'll know for sure on whether or not he gets the lucky dog. Let's take a couple more views of it here. Jeff Merck, I think, got the worst damage of that. Chad Ross probably got it pretty good as well. 60 with the front end has to be pretty torn up. How do we look at it from TV6? This might give us a pretty good angle of it. Man. Yep, sure enough, no front end for Chad Ross as it glitches itself back on, but let's actually ride on board with, not for Chad Ross, excuse me, Jeff Merck, I apologize, but wanted to say let's ride on board with Jeff Merck here. And this is kind of a blindside hit. As a driver, it's always weird, the reaction. Some people don't even flinch because they just don't really have time to, and other people, it kind of scares them a little bit. Back that up a little bit more here, and let's ride on board because you don't really expect it. It kind of comes out of nowhere. Christopher McCall probably more blindsided, but here you go, just leading the way. Boom, boom. And then turned around. Next thing he knows, he's having a face-to-face conversation with Chad Ross. Back live, looking towards the front, Christopher McCall is leading the way here with 11 laps to go. Bobby Forbes second, Aaron Roth third, Mitchell Daves. Good recovery after an incident earlier. He's back to fourth, up 17 from where he started. Biggest mover, of course, Christopher McCall up 16. Second biggest mover, and then Ken McCall Jr. rounding out your top five. Jason Schilling, shout out to this guy, up 6 positions in 6th. Dylan Jones 7th, Cody Reed 8th, Joey Allen 9th, and Joshua McCall rounding out your top 10. You know, we just really have not heard a lot of noise from the Mains group. Of course, that consists of Dylan Jones, Jason Mains, Kevin Freeze. Now, I know they may not have had a chance so far really tonight, but yeah, we have not seen them as much as we usually do. Man, oh man. Chef Moorhead says hello again. Ghost Racing Network, do it. You all have a Twitter. Bryce says we do not. May end up getting one for the channel. I still find it... Oh, I guess maybe not. I guess people wouldn't know. Yes, Bryce is the owner for anybody that... seems like it always... I don't think anyone really has thought that I was the owner. But they always seem to not, I guess, realize that Bryce is the owner. It's kind of weird how that works. But either way, Chef Red says, thanks. Wanted to tag y'all yesterday. So, yeah, no Twitter. But there was a couple other things. Thinking about maybe putting some polls out in the Ghost Discord again. Hey, if you want to join the Ghost Racing Network Discord, get more notifications, all that kind of good stuff. We have it in the description for you. Check it out. If that doesn't work, let me know, and I can drop a link here in the chat. Been a fun night here on the track, off the track. Started out the night with a $4 donation from Chris Carter in Super Chat. And the race itself got a little messy, but again, all things considered, fourth caution of the night, not too bad. 11 laps to go, but this is where it's going to test the patience of all these guys. It's going to be a restart with what's looking like probably about 9 laps to go, so things are going to get crazy. And I think the 3 wide that maybe we saw a little bit of a lack of during that last one, we're certainly going to see a lot more of in this one. Let's see if we can maybe pull somebody else in here. And this would have been a good time to get Ambrose Campbell in, but man, looks like he is headed out for the night. Dang. Well, let's talk to one of the guys on track that's had a pretty good night. Now, before I pull this guy in, I do want to make sure that I'm reading it correctly. Jackson Byes should have gotten the lucky dog. Taking a look at the data real quick, and it looks like, sure enough, he did. And on that note, knowing he's going to be back in contention, let's get a word with him here. Hey, Jackson, this is Austin up the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah.
Well, you and Logan York, looking like you guys are teammates, working pretty good. Now, you had that spin earlier. Looked like you might have missed a shift. However, you fought back. You got back on the lead lap. What's the game plan to try to get yourself in the money for this thing?
Right now I'm pushing Logan. He had my buy-in and he has some damage. So I'm just gonna push him until he can't.
Well, speaking of teammates, then, if you and Logan are working together at the end of this thing, if he's got a little damage, I mean, how do you work that out, I guess? Do you just, I mean, let me rephrase that. I guess I said it kind of silly. If you got more damage than him, or if he's got more damage than you, is there any thought about maybe trying to change it up, having you take the lead, having him draft? How does it work?
He can't pull up to him, but if someone's right behind him, he could drive up to him. He just needs someone right behind him.
And that
as soon as someone comes off of him, he drops back.
There we go. That's the answer I was looking for. I was trying to figure out how you guys were going to sort that out, but sure enough, we'll see if you guys can make a run to the finish. Thanks for getting a quick word with us. We'll see if we see you at the end of this thing.
See ya.
And yeah, I feel kind of bad for Jackson. Not because of the positions he in, but because of how awkward I made that interview for him. And I certainly didn't mean to make it that way, Jackson. So if you're watching it back later, I do apologize. But I was hoping I was going to be able to ask you about how you were planning to go for the win and whatnot, but kind of cut it short there when he already had the game plan laid out. Said, I'm going to go push my teammate, the man that paid for me to be in here tonight. He's got some damage, but I still might be able to get him win. So we'll see what happens here. Here we go. 9 laps to go. We're back green at Talladega. Christopher McCall out to a good jump. He had the choice to go high or low there, but he's going to stick to the low side for now. Aaron Roth pushing. He's been a pretty good pusher tonight. Sooner or later, you got to think he wants to lead for himself. Ken McCall Jr., he's going to be looking to get lined up with his teammate and Dylan Jones as well. Aaron Roth is looking high. Christopher McCall is going to throw a block. Beautifully executed block, to say the least, too. Drags the 30 all the way up to the top. Aaron Roth with nowhere to go. Now we're going to see him start to fan out 3 wide. Head out the 3 in the top lane. Try to make it work is Mitchell Daves. Ken McCall Jr., where did he come from? He now leads on the bottom with a push from Dylan Jones. 3 by 3, still that third lane. They're going to have to find a way to get some momentum going, though, before some more trucks decide to jump up there and block it. Sean Hill is now going to jump up top as well. And there it is. Ken McCall Jr. jumps up to the top with his teammate Christopher McCall. We'll see how they decide to split this up. That allows Dylan Jones to take the lead on the bottom. We haven't seen any 4 wide here, not tonight at least, but it could certainly... Actually, I take that back. We did see a little bit of 4 wide just for a split second. We could see some more here depending on how this thing goes. And what a push. The 3 gets out to a huge jump, maybe too big of a jump now as he falls back a little bit on the inside. Ken McCall Jr., Christopher McCall try to get to the lead. They'd like to maybe split it up a little more, have Ken maybe jump to the bottom, but he feels nice and cozy off his teammate's front bumper right now. And even with the damage that Joshua McCall has, he still continues to lead up top with the push from Chad Ross and Sean Hill. And at this point, well, I take it back because Ken McCall Jr. is going to jump low. Ooh, thinks twice about it. Right back to the top he goes. But if you're one of those lead pushers, we're going to have a wreck. Contact with Dylan Jones is going to send Christopher McCall. They're all going to go spinning here. We got some through the grass. Big hit in the travel for the 95 and the 38. Kevin Freeze comes to a sliding stop. They're still wrecking a little bit. And we had some quick toes there. Guys wasted no time. They figured their day was done. And that was a tough one. Looked like some contact between 2 trucks, and it brings out our 5th caution here of the night. Let's go back and take a look at what happens here. They were thinking about 4 wide further in the back, but that's not even going to be where this wreck starts up at. So let's go to the chopper view. I think it's going to give us our best angle from this. Here we go. It's going to be towards the front, so keep it... Oh! Aaron Roth and Christopher McCall. You know, that looks like some net code there. You saw Aaron Roth and Christopher McCall. Maybe a little bit of a bad push from Aaron Roth off the corner. Turns Christopher McCall down just slightly. Kind of what it looks like, unless Chris just got a little bit loose. Couldn't tell, but then I think there's a little bit of net code there between the 30 of Aaron Roth and Dylan Jones. That sends Jones up into McCall, and then Chris is trying to save it. Actually, Chris does save it. Didn't notice that from the first view. Does a heck of a job. Unfortunately, though, Aaron Roth and Chad Ross not going to be so lucky. Further up, Dylan Jones and the 3 get into a little bit more as well. There's the 95 getting involved. And, oh, we almost had... Man, that was a near miss. So we had 1 truck merging back on the track. Let's take a look from the TV follow cam on this one, and then we'll ride on board with Dylan Jones to see if it indeed looked like netcode. But that's what it looks like from everything I could see up here. Big hit for the 30. That's going to be heavy damage. You got to hope he's got a fast pair, especially with the good night he's been having. Looks like Jackson buys. Couldn't tell, actually, if he got any damage through that. I want to look at that one more time here from... Let's look from TV6. This is Logan York. He, wow, somehow finds a way to sneak through it. And if you weren't really paying attention to him, pay attention to him here. We're going to show him from 2 different views. I don't know how he finds his way through this, but he does. They're going to all start piling up in front of him here, and you just got to commit to a lane. He commits to the middle, and they all kind of split up. Yeah, Jackson Byes does make a little contact with the rear of Joey Allen. Not sure if that's going to give him too heavy a damage. All right, here we go. Here's the cockpit view for Logan York. Commit, slows down, then throttles it back up to miss it. Does a really, really nice job. And then I wanted to take a look, of course, at Dylan Jones, his cockpit view through this. And watch the hands here. You're going to see him kind of get hooked. He's turning the wheel to left. Yeah, that's looking like net code from everything I'm seeing here. Watch his hands. Yep, sure enough. Pretty heavy net code. You saw the hands working to the left before he even got to Christopher McCall, trying to keep it off, but could not quite do it. So as we go back live, 6 laps to go. Going to put us a restart in within 5 laps to go here. And your leader is being scored as Ken McCall Jr. Bridesmaid last night, finishing second. He'd love to get the win here tonight. Joshua McCall, his teammate, second. Dylan Jones, third. Christopher McCall, fourth. And how about Cody Reed? Near, well, I guess not really a near spin, because it pretty much was a spin earlier. Half spin, if you will. He somehow held onto it. Saved his truck, was involved in a wreck later. Finds himself back out inside the top 5 with under 5 to go. He's going to have a good shot at this thing. We'll see what he can do. Bobby Forbes in 6th. Sean Hill 7th. Joey Allen in 8th. Jason Maines 9th. And Logan York, who just missed that wreck, rounding out your top 10. Talking about, well, you know, I'm going to take that back. On that note, I was going to talk about the PC, I guess PC Challenge, the top money race, or whatever you want to call it. It's got a couple different names, but we talked about that enough last night, I think. And the McCall Motorsports guys sitting in their team chat right now, not in the FEG Discord, of course, so we're going to let them just get focused and get ready to go. Rules here, as always, going to apply. If we can make it to the white flag, we will make this thing official. However, if we get a caution before we take the white flag, then we will rack them up and try it again. It would probably send us into overtime at this point, as we do get the one-to-go signal, so it's going to be 4 laps to go when we go green. That puts us as 36. Well, after we get this lap completed here, 36 laps will be in the book tonight. And we have had a ton of lead changes, most in recent FEG Money Racing history. On the flip side of that, 5 cautions here tonight, a little bit more than I think what we were on track here for tonight. Had a couple incidents, though, that I think forced the hand and kind of encouraged some more cautions in a sense. But it's been a good Saturday night of money racing. Beautiful weather here at virtual Talladega Superspeedway. Appreciate you joining us here on Ghost Racing Network. And if you enjoyed it, feel free to let us know here live in the chat or in the comments, whatever makes you feel good. Row 1, going to be the teammates. Christopher McCall as well, going to be pushing Ken McCall Jr. So that is going to be probably, I think that outside line is pretty much going to stay where it is at this point. It's going to either take the 3rd lane, getting somebody up there to drop in front of those two, or if Ken McCall Jr. decides to drop low in front of Joshua McCall. Either way, McCall Motorsports, at least as of right now, looking like they're in pretty good shape. On the flip side of that, Chad Ross, Ambrose Cadibel, Donald Ray have all retired from the night. Jason Schilling on the pitch. John Ward just got a lap back. In fact, he's back on the lead lap now. So is Jackson Byes, but he got his lap back last caution. Aaron Roth, Kevin Freeze, Josh Bonwell, they've all got a lot of work ahead of them. Jeff Merck is going to try to pick up his teammate Sean Hill, and they're going to make a march back to the front. We're all going to see it pan out here once we go back green as they're working their way out of turn 4 now. And with 4 laps to go, of course, even if we did have the 3-wide rule, it's certainly off now. Michael Triscaro says, do it for him, Jason. Well, we'll see what happens here. Jason Maines, as we talked about, been a rough night for the whole Maines group. Very, very uncharacteristic. So if for some reason you're against the Maines ever winning, yeah, tonight might have been your night. But here we go. Ken McCall Jr. into the Geico restart zone. Puts the right foot down, hammers it down. Here we go, green flag back in the air, 4 laps to go. Joshua McCall with a pretty good jump on the inside as well. They're going to hang even. Now we're really going to test how much that damage affects the 05. Dylan Jones, you know he's not going to let off already. Tandemed up. Now Christopher McCall finds the back bumper of his teammate. And if you're Joshua McCall, I don't think there's any thoughts about going up high, at least at this point. You got a great pusher in Dylan Jones behind you, so we'll see how he decides to pan it out further back. Already looking at 3 wide. That's Mitchell Daves in the 3 truck. Looking up high, he's not going to get anybody to bite just yet. You got to get 2 or 3 trucks going to make any progress. And sure enough, Ken McCall Jr. is going to drop to the bottom. That now opens it up for Chris. He's going to have a shot at winning this thing. But Joey Allen, Logan York, they're not done yet. They're going to try to make a late march to the front. And what does Sean Hill think about doing? Looks like he got that truck fixed up. Sorry about that little lag spike. And now it looks like Joey Allen's going to get left to dry, but not too quick. Jason Maines jumps back up to top with Jeff Burke. Bobby Forbes made the right move. Unfortunately, though, not really knowing any of the guys in here, they're not going to help him out at all. They jump right back below him. And Jason Maines, he still wants to go 3 wide. So does Jeff Merck. I think those two are a good duo. Kevin Freeze, he's going to go with them. So make it a trio, why don't we? And if Sean Hill has a chance, he's thinking about making that third line work as well here. But they are back to 2x2 here down the straightaway. 3 laps to go. Going to be coming to 2 to go this next time. Into turn 3. Ooh, Sean Hill made a dicey move down to the bottom, but he made it work. Had to split the gap. A little bit of a late block that he made work on Ken McCall Jr. and just barely in time to not hook Christopher McCall. And Ken McCall Jr. pushes him right back up to the top line. That gives the 03 the advantage on the bottom. They're getting together. Got to save it here, boys. Keep it together. And we all do now, but it's looking really sloppy. 3 wide Joshua McCall. He's got to get back on the track. He does, but they're going to wreck out back. No, they're not. They somehow hold it together still. 3, almost 4 wide in a couple areas now. In fact, we are 4 wide. Logan York gets together. Looks like him and Jackson Byes almost make some contact. Still green up front, back to 3x3 out back, but this single file line looking very odd here up front. Jackson Byes out back, saved it, but Jason Maines up front now with his teammate Kevin Freeze. They must have heard me talking about it because now they lead the outside line only with 2 trucks though, and Sean Hill takes the lead now on the inside. This is the last lap for caution, so if they're going to wreck, go ahead and wreck them up now. Otherwise, let's finish this thing under green. Out of turn 4, Sean Hill has the lead. How much blocking is he willing to do here? Down the short chute into the tribal. Christopher McCall now has the advantage back up top, and you got to wonder if he gets cleared. Does he think about dropping lower? Does he stay up top at this point? We're about to find out. Here we go. White flag is in the air one more time around Talladega. Sean Hill lost all the help. All he's got now is his teammate Jeff Burke, who's going to give him all he's got to try to keep him up there. Meanwhile, up top, we got a train being led by Christopher McCall. Jason Maines second, Kevin Freeze third. Watch for Ken McCall Jr. to maybe look up top to maybe make a third lane. But for now, they're going to continue to keep it 2x2 here. There's the move. It's going to be Josh Bondwell. He's going to get a push. We'll see if they can make it get here and working before we get to the tribal. Kevin Freeze looked like he thought about jumping out of the line. Instead, he's going to stick with his teammate Jeff Merck. Some contact with Ken McCall Jr. Now Jason Maines jumps down to the bottom in front of Sean Hill. Side by side at a turn 4 between Christopher McCall and Sean Hill. Who is going to win it now as Jason Maines gets the lead. They're wrecking big out back. But it's going to be a side-by-side drag race to the finish, assuming they can keep it clean. Christopher McCall now, he gets a nose out in front. It is going to be a drag race to the line side by side. Jason Maines wins it at Talladega. Found himself towards the back for most of the race, but got to the front when it mattered most, and he gets the job done. That was a good finish. Cannot be mad about that one at all. Christopher McCall second, Sean Hill third. Ken McCall Jr. fourth, and Kevin Freeze, Jason's teammate, rounding out the top 5. So they ended up getting all 3 teammates, well, almost all 3 back inside the top 5. Dylan Jones finished 14th after a tough break earlier. Man. Exciting couple of last laps. Let's go take a look at it here. We don't have to go back all the way to the white flag to break down where most of the action happened. Now, I will say there was quite a bit of chaos there towards... maybe towards the end of the coming to the white flag lap, I guess, if you will, but gonna have a wreck out back here. Jackson Byes trying to push Josh Bondwell. Unfortunately, turns him there, got a little bit too offset to the left, and not much you can do about it. Now, looking at this battle coming to the tribal here, I don't know what you really say about this in the sense of Kevin Freeze. This is about the perfect teammate move that you can make here to help Jason Maines win it. You look at it 2 ways. Kevin Freeze maybe trying to help himself gain a position, but also by jumping out, that's enough to ensure Jason Maines to win. Now, I'm not sure if that's what he had in mind, but if he did, that is a very, very sneaky move that I have not yet seen before. So think about this. We know that the Maines boys split money. Again, this is just a thought. Kevin Freeze may have just been going for the position. It could very well be as simple as that. But they split the same money, so looking for the best finishing positions possible. And you know that first place is going to be making the most money, so watch what Kevin Freeze is going to do here. If he sticks to Christopher McCall Jr.'s bumper here, I don't think there's any doubt Chris gets the win here, but instead he's going to jump high. Christopher McCall is going to try to follow at the block to keep the push. And instead, he kind of gets split. He sees his teammate and Ken McCall Jr. coming, so he's going to drop back down low, but it was just too late. That little bit of a gap was all Jason Maines needed as Sean Hill was locked to his bumper through the whole tri-oval. And that is your finish. Pretty close margin of victory, though, nonetheless. In fact, 2/100ths of a second is how much Jason Maines gets the job done. We got interviews coming up from your top 3, so stick with us. We'll be right back. All right, back live here at Talladega Superspeedway. Going to start with third place finisher tonight, Alex Hill, the 77. Alex, you got a copy?
Yeah, I got you.
Well, you started with some damage, but at the end of the day, you managed to get it fixed up. You bring home a third place finish. Overall, though, crazy race. Tell us about it.
Yeah, it was pretty crazy from the get-go, to be honest. I mean, everyone was being super aggressive, which I expect, but some moves that were very questionable, but it's all fun. It's all fun. But yeah, I got involved in the second wreck, I believe it was. I lost the draft. I was completely out of the pack. Luckily enough for me, I got a caution to come out, helped me a lot. Got a faster pair fixed, and I lined up really good. I worked with Jason to get up to the front, Chad Ross. Unfortunately, there was a wreck that took him out in front of me, and I missed that wreck. So yeah, it brought me to top 5 on the start there, and I just seized the moment. Just tried to change lanes, get to the front, did everything I could. But yeah, and when Jason on the backstretch, he came down, I already knew me and him were gonna work well together, come to the front stretch and to the tri-oval.
Well, it works out. You finished in third. Before we let you go tonight, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, thank you to Jeff Merck for helping me that race. Thank you to you for broadcasting it, and big thanks to Jeff for hosting these races.
All right. Hey, thanks for talking to us. And for one more time, congratulations on the third place finish.
Thank you.
And now we're going to go ahead and bring in second place finisher. And that's Christopher McCall. Chris, you got a copy?
Hey, Austin, I got you.
Well, it's about time that we're talking to you live at the end of one of these things. You bring it home second here tonight. What more do you think you needed there at the end to get the win?
I just needed a teammate a little closer. Kenny got to me at the very end there. I didn't think Kevin would push me past his teammate. I'm not sure how he got off my bumper. Just hard racing, but it's just nice to be able to finish these and not be upside down at the end.
You can say that again. Now, we didn't see you leading the whole way here. I'd say about halfway, so you started making your way to the front. What was the strategy coming into the race tonight?
I knew my buddy Ambrose, love him to death, has had one too many, and he was all over the place. So I was just making sure I kept my truck clean and make sure I had enough gas. And as soon as I was good to the end, I decided to go to the front.
All right. Well, thanks for talking to us. Before we let you go, though, is there anyone you want to thank or shout out?
Yeah, I got to thank my team, McCullough Motorsports. We usually have about a third of the field in these races, but it's fun to run with a bunch of good guys that we can just have conversations with. I also got to thank all these competitors we race against. It's fun to be able to run hard and be able to race clean like that. Thank you for broadcasting, and thanks for Jeff for putting the race on.
All right. Thanks for talking to us. We'll see you later.
Thanks, buddy.
And now we're going to pull in your winner tonight. That's Jason Maines. Jason, you got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, tonight, obviously you got the win, so something went right tonight. But overall, the race itself, very uncharacteristic for you and your team. We didn't see you guys at the front too much until it mattered most. What happened?
It was a little sketchy at the beginning. We just played safe early, so we could just, at the end of the race, try to make your moves then.
Well, it certainly looked that way. Now, at the end there, it almost looked like a little bit of team strategy play there. It was really impressive and something I haven't seen before. I'm not sure if you had any insight on it, but was there some coordination there between you and Kevin Freeze on making sure that you could secure the win there coming to the line?
No. The thing was, I was going to stay committed to Chris and then, make a pass at the end so he wouldn't, lose his positions. And then I saw Hill was coming with a massive run. So the kind of speed they had coming, if I didn't, drop down, I was probably going to get buried and probably finish 6th or 7th because they're going to go 3 eventually coming to the line. So, but yeah, that was pretty much all that was. And then as well as I do, it's a drag race at that point to the end, and Hill did a great job. That was a super square push, and he knows how to push. So like I was telling him, I pushed him a lot in the earlier races, and it's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Well, I wish I had some more questions to ask you, but with no special green flag stops or strategy here really tonight, that's about all I got. I mean, plain and cut, you guys got the job done at the end when it mattered most. So on that note, before we let you go, is there anyone else you want to thank or shout out?
Yes, I always thank my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. I got to thank Lennox Industries, NCU Bodies, Bradley Mechanical, and Ryko, and my teammates there, and Dylan and Kevin, and great racing with them fellas, and Hill and them. It was a good, clean race up there.
Certainly was. Hey, thanks for talking to us tonight. Congrats on the win. Enjoy your winnings.
Thanks for the broadcast, Big Dog. Appreciate you.
All right, Jason Maines getting the job done here tonight. Brings home the victory at Talladega. Christopher McCall second. How about Sean Hill? Good recovery. Finishes third. Ken McCall Jr. fourth. Kevin Freeze fifth. Jeff Merkin sixth. Joshua McCall seventh. Cody Reed eighth. Art Greco ninth. John Ward rounding out your top 10. Joey Allen 11th. Mitchell Daves 12th. Aaron Roth 13th. Dylan Jones 14th. Logan York 15th. It's going to be Bobby Forbes in 16th. Josh Bonwell finishes 17th. Moving on back to 18th. Jackson Byes. Jason Schilling 19th. Chad Ross 20th. Ambrose Kniebel 21st. And 22nd is going to be Donald Ray. Boy, he got another tough break tonight. Well, we heard a lot of the drivers talking about it. Clean racing up front. Either way, it was really fun. We enjoyed the broadcast. I hope everybody enjoyed watching. One more big thanks and shout out to Chris Carter for the $4 donation and super chat. Appreciate it enough, and we might have that list updated for biggest super chat donations next race. I hope everybody enjoyed one more time, and that should be it for a couple days for us here at Ghost Racing Network, at least for me, that is. So probably until next Thursday where Matthew Baker joins me back in the booth. Have a good night. We'll see you then.